Hello and welcome to my channel. It's Jess with Love to Plan with Jess, and today we are going to take a look at my reading journal. We are going to recap the books that I read for the month of February, and we are going to get my March pages all set up. So this year I am using the cover and discs from the Kelva reading journal. This cover was specific to the Chicago Planner Conference. This was gifted at that conference, but I believe she did sell this journal with a different cover. I do not believe it's available anymore, but that's where this came from. So the first page that we have, this said 100 book challenge, but since my goal this year is to read 75 books, I just kind of changed it to 75 book challenge and put some stickers here to block off the little covers that I'm not going to be using. But these are the 12 books that I have read so far this year. This is my perpetual calendar, and in here I write the book that I read and draw an arrow to show how long it took to read it. So those are the books that I read in the month of February. And now we get to my currently page. So I decorate the currently page the month before, and then once the month is over, then we add in the book covers for this month. Usually I will have a box in here and I will put the number of books that I read and the number of pages that I read. Did I do that for January? Let's see. I didn't do it for January, so I guess this year we're not doing that. I do have that information listed somewhere else. So let's just get started talking about the books that I read. So the first book that I read was Hemlock, and this book was really good. I gave this one 5 stars. This was kind of like a love triangle book about the main character. Her name is Maggie, and she leaves town, and her plan is to kind of never return. But something tragic happens and she ends up having to come back to her hometown. I think this was like a decade later, or I don't know, between 10 and 15 years later. And she buys a house, and it was kind of like a house that she had her eye on for a really long time. And she buys the house, and right away, super strange things start happening. She's kind of afraid that the house is haunted. And then later she discovers different things about kind of the two men in her life that are very different from what she thought. And without giving anything else away, it was a really good book. The next book that I read was The Crash. This was a new book by Frida McFadden. This one was not my favorite of hers. It was still good, but it wasn't my favorite of hers. In this book, a young woman in her early 20s, she's single, she is 8 months pregnant, and she's really struggling financially, but she's expecting this really big payout from her baby daddy. And once she signs these documents, I don't know if it's an NDA type thing. It might be, I can't remember. But she's supposed to sign these documents and get this really big payout. But her memories are being triggered, and she remembers something about him and then refuses to sign the documents. And then she gets into an accident. And that one was, it was a really good book. I did like it. There were parts of it that kind of dragged on a little bit, but overall I did like it. The next book that I read was Do Not Open, and this was another good book. I don't know if I'm going to have room for all these. Let's see. Maybe we'll have to put one up here. Should we put this one up here? Let's do this one up here. We might need to do another one up here too. Yeah, maybe something like this. Okay, so Do Not Open. This book was about a writer that receives an email from a producer that wants to meet her for a movie deal. And at first she's kind of skeptical. The email says that they want to meet in person at this person's house. And she's kind of like, oh, I'm not sure about that. Maybe we should meet at a coffee shop instead. But she ends up going to the house to meet this person, and she doesn't want to offend him. And it turns out to be a huge mistake to go there. It definitely gives some sort of vibes from a particular movie. I don't really want to say which movie it is because I don't want to ruin the book if you want to read it. But when I was reading, it was definitely giving some like of this movie vibes for sure. Okay, let's talk about the next 3 books that I read. So these 3 books are part of a series. However, I didn't know that before I started reading them. So the first one, so I guess let's talk about the order that they're supposed to go in is this order: the influencer, the imposter, and the intruder. The way that I read them was this way. I read book 2 first, not realizing that it was book 2. I got to the end of the book and I was like, oh, there's another book after this one. And I started reading this book, the 3rd one. And like partway through, it might have been like at the very beginning, I realized, oh, this is book 3 of a series, and I didn't read the first book. So after I finished The Intruder, I went back and read The Influencer, and it was kind of cool reading it that way because it was almost like reading a prequel. Like I knew what happened at the end of the story, and it was kind of like learning the front part of the story at the end. I don't know. I actually kind of liked the order that I ended up reading them in, but I did read them in the wrong order. So this series is about the main character, Shay, and she is an influencer. She wants to stay anonymous though, and so she contracts this model to kind of be the face of her brand, and it's kind of unclear. I don't know that the model exactly knows like who she is and what the brand is, but she uses her pictures. And about a year later, after they contract this model, her and her husband ends up having an affair and leaving her for this model. So Shay then moves to, or maybe not moves, but she goes to like visit Chicago, where the model and her husband, soon to be ex-husband, are living, and she befriends her, and without giving things away, she is incredibly emotionally, mentally unstable, and a lot of really terrible things happen. In books 2 and 3, you learn a lot about Shay's past and kind of like her growing up that I guess sort of explain a little bit like where her like emotional and mental instability comes from. But it was a really good series. I really did enjoy reading it. So those were the 6 books that I read for the month of February. Now we go to my monthly page, and here I have a header box, and I use washi to show how long it took me to read. To decorate this one last month, we used the seasonal stickers from Kelvaplan, and I took this Live Love Posh washi tape, and that's what I used for the washi here. And I think this turned out really pretty. I really like this. Okay, now before we get to our March pages where we're going to decorate them, there's a couple of things that we want to do here. So these are like my trackers. So this is my 75 bookshelf, and I color the books in the same color for that month that I read. So in January, I colored everything in red, and in February, I colored all of the books in orange. This month, I decided not to put the titles in there and just have like the color show like the number of books that I read, because we have the titles in lots of other places in this reading journal. So my book of the month for February was Hemlock. This was my favorite book that I read this month. So I printed out the book cover, and we're going to put it in here as my book of the month. This is something new that I'm doing this year, and it's really fun. It's fun to have like a book of the month. Okay, next is our Reading A to Z challenge, and I do have a few letters that we can fill in. So for Hemlock, I already had an H, so we're not going to put anything there. But for C, we have the crash. For D, we have do not open. And then we have 3 I books. We have the imposter, the intruder, and the influencer. I think I will put the imposter down just because that's the first one that I read. All right, that is my Reading A to Z challenge. Now for my book bingo. So let's see what we have in here. A 2025 release. I did read The Crash that was just recently released, so we will color this in. And when I was reading Hemlock, I did actually audibly gasp out loud. So we're going to mark this one. First book in a series, I guess I can say that I read that since I read that 3-book series, although I did read them out of order, but I did end up reading the first book in that series. And I think that is it for my book bingo this month. My TBR, I don't have anything in here. I need to fill this in still. But for my books and pages, this month I read 6 books, and I think I used this marker. So for February, we write a 6. And the number of pages that I read was 1,758. I think I used this last time, the 0.38. So we'll continue using this one, 1,758. Okay, that's it for all of my trackers. Now we are going to decorate the pages for March. So let's get these out of the journal so that we can decorate them. For my currently page, I want to use For the Love of Books Volume 2 by Aesthetic Plans. I feel like this is like a perfect book to use for a reading journal. Just don't know which set. I think I want to use this blue set. So we are just going to decorate in here, and I guess we're not going to put any boxes, which when I use Cassie's books, I usually will put boxes in and kind of layer. So that is going to be kind of different for me, but we will figure it out. We will put, I kind of want to put this van like up here. I mean, that's really random. Whoops. And I don't know if I want to layer it with something or I think we're just going to put this up here. Just like that. Just going to take my Uniball Signo and just kind of white out that tiny bit of that one that was showing through. We have quotes in this book, so let's definitely bring in a quote. How about this one? I like books more than people. We're going to take 2. And my weekend is all booked. Let's take these 2 quotes. And I think I want to use like one of the layering elements behind the quote. I did that with one of Cassie's. Let's take this one because it is a little bit like lighter, so you'll be able to read the quote through it. I think it was my horizontal spread that I did a few weeks ago, and I took one of the layering elements and I put the quote over it, and I really like how that looked. So let's go ahead and white out important here. And I think we're going to go with I like books more than people up here. So let's put this like layering element right there. And then the quote like right here. There, I like that. I like how that looks. And you can still read the quote through that little layering element. And then let's just stick a couple of little like smaller stickers down here. I think I had like one more sticker on this page, this little like tea set. So let's put this here. And we might just leave that space blank. Now I can't fill too much of this up because we need to leave all of the room for book covers for next month when we fill the book covers in. So we should probably do some like book stacks. I feel like that makes sense. Let's take like this one and put it down here. I did pull this other quote. And should we use one of these guys again? I think so. So let's take, I guess, this one. Oops, part of the paper came off with that. Now, since we have that quote up here, I kind of want to put this one over on like the left side of the page. Maybe we put it right up here. We're going to just white out, take note. All right, I think I'm going to do it this way. Put that there and then put this here. Now I want something down here and then I think we will be done. We could use this down here. Okay, I love that. Now we will move on to the monthly. For the monthly, I think I'm going to use this older Live Love Posh book, Beautifully Lined. I actually have no idea if this is still available. I just literally decided to use it like just now, right before I pulled it out. So I, didn't know that this was the book that I was going to be using before I started filming. So I didn't check to see if it was still available, but I will look and I might leave in the comments if it is or in the description. But I am an affiliate for Live Love Posh. So if you are looking to purchase one of the Live Love Posh books, I have an affiliate link in the description and you can use code LOVE10 to save. We're going to just put this here. We're kind of covering up some of the days of the week there. Usually that bothers me, but it doesn't bother me this time. But I like how that looks. I think that that's really pretty. Although we do need to sort of add something over on this side too. So I think I'm going to just take some of these like smaller pieces. We don't have like this big one, but we can take some of these like smaller ones and just add them. Whoops. Add them here in kind of this like top border of the calendar. So we can put that there, and then we need another one here. And put this like that. And I thought since, March, St. Patrick's Day is in March, that it would be fun to use some green florals. Okay, so let's trim this up and we can add some more of these decorative florals in the sidebar. And I think I'm going to do like a quote or something here. The way that I decorate this calendar, really, I just leave the entire center part of the calendar open because I am going to put like the books that I read with the washi all in the center. So I can't really put anything in here. Actually, we have these little scraps. I sort of mushed them all together, but we could take like these two and I feel like we could use them up here. Yeah, that's cute. I think we need to trim here. Now, what if we take this and put it here? It's gonna be, I feel like it's gonna be way too big and go into those days a little bit too much. So I think we're gonna just take some of these smaller ones, and let's grab my tweezers to make this easier on me, getting these stickers out of the book. Okay, so we can do, I think we'll put this one right about here. And then let's just take some of these other green, smaller ones. I'm kind of staying away from the purple ones. I'm not sure if my book is in frame for you to see, but I'm sort of staying away from the purple ones, and we're just using the green ones. Let's do this here, and then maybe this here, and this one. Oops, this one is cut. So let's put this like that. Okay, so that was super quick and easy. I do want to do something up here though. I don't think I want to put florals there because we sort of have them around the border, but I think that I can definitely grab a quote to stick here, and then maybe there's something else that I can find that we can put over, like over on this side. This is Book Babe from Live Love Posh, and these kind of have like similar green tones to them. So I was sort of thinking maybe we can put in a couple of these. So let's see, we're gonna need them not to be too big. I think that we can fit her somewhere. Could put her down here at the bottom. Let's see if I can move this sticker. All right, we got a bit of ripping, but we're going to just put sticker over it. So we're going to kind of cover up that anyway. And we can add this in somewhere too, but let's take a couple of like these book stacks. So maybe this one. Maybe these candles. Let's put the candles right there. And I want to put the book stack over here. It's going to go into Friday. So I'm going to cut as much of like the white part off as I can. And if it's still going to run into Friday, I think that's good. Perfect. Okay, just by trimming off the white part, I was able to make that fit. Okay, so that's fun. Are there quotes in here? Oh, there are. So let's take some of these quotes that we can put on the top here. Should we do book lover? We could do book lover, like cut it apart. I think that that will work. Whoops. Oh, they're two separate stickers anyway. Don't even need to cut them apart. So let's just white these lines out here. All right, book lover. That's fun. And then we still have this. I don't know where to put it. Can cut it in half and kind of put it like along the bottom here and here. Let's try that. Maybe this one on this side. I think it's super cute, and I think I'm going to come in with some of these butterflies just to kind of fill in a couple of the spaces. So we can do, let's do a butterfly here. and here and here. All right, now I think I want to grab some day of the week stickers just because I covered up like Wednesday and Friday here, and I think it might be fun to see if we can find some green. Now we have a lot of different shades of green on the page, so I think that I'll probably be able to find something that will work. These stickers are from Planner Kate, and I kind of think I like this darker one. So let's add the days of the week here. All right, this is all set. It turned out really pretty. I am really happy with it. So to decorate, I used a couple of different books. We used a little bit of Book Babe from Live Love Posh, and we also used Beautifully Lined from Live Love Posh. My affiliate link will be in the description. You can use code LOVE10 to save 10%. And then for the currently page, I used For the Love of Books Volume 2 by Caesthetic Plans. I will have an affiliate link in the description for Caesthetic Plans as well. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.